Hello, Namaste. Friends, today we will learn about gender and its related concepts. But before understanding gender, we should understand the social construction which is responsible for forming our ideas about gender. Social construction is a continuous process in which all individuals and the social processes play a part. For example, when a baby is born, it is wrapped in a piece of fabric. So, can we make out if the baby is a boy or a girl? We cannot. But as they grow up, we begin to differentiate between a boy or a girl through various ways like the differences in clothing, the activities they do, the toys they play with, the sports they generally play. Like in a playground, we generally see boys playing football and girls playing kho-kho. Such differentiation can also be seen in the roles and responsibilities that they are assigned. So, friends, we see there is a biological difference between boys and girls at the time of birth, but as they grow older, they begin to assimilate different attributes, roles and responsibilities due to the socialization processes which begin right from the family. Thus, gender is an example of such socialization processes. So, what is gender? Gender refers to a socially determined and culturally specific difference between women, men and transgender. You must realize that the definition of gender is also created by the society. Gender is perpetuated through family, schools, advertisements, media, market, etc. Therefore, it can vary across societies and over time. Further, gender can be impacted by the factors such as race, class, religion, ethnicity and disability. So, friends, now let us understand what is sex. Sex refers to the biological difference between women and men which is given by nature and is constant. It does not change across family and time. Thus, friends, sex and gender are two different concepts. Sex pertains to the biological difference between boys and girls, and gender is a socio-cultural difference between boys and girls, men and women, which is given by the society. There is another aspect of gender. It is also important to know that gender is just not confined to boys and girls. There are also some men who are born with male bodies, but they feel, dress and behave like girls and women. Similarly, there are women who want to dress, act and behave like boys or men. They are categorized as transgender persons, and their behavior, role and attributes are also determined by the society. Thus, our gender identities determine how we are perceived and how we are expected to behave as men, women and transgender. Now, let us reflect on certain important points. Do you think gender roles are fair? Does the fact that we are treated differently based on our sex prevent us from reaching equality? Or are we treated differently because we are different in nature? Friends, since schooling plays a very important role in our socialization, we need to understand how gender and its dimensions operate in schools. The teachers are an important stakeholder in the schooling process. We will discuss their role in making classroom gender friendly and inclusive. Friends, teachers themselves, because of their socialization, perpetuate gender biases and prejudices formally or informally, and this can be seen in the terms of selective distribution of roles and responsibilities, allocation of activities, use of inappropriate language, etc. in the classroom processes. Such an attitude creates low self-esteem and feeling of alienation among girls, which in turn affects their level of participation in the classroom activities. So, it is here that the teacher can play a meaningful role. The teacher must take care to make the teaching learning environment participatory, where girls are also involved actively in the learning process. So, how does the teacher go about it? The teacher should first identify the gender differences in all schooling activities and then plan and implement the activities in the classroom and outside classroom accordingly. This will surely create an enabling environment where all students, including girls, can share their experiences, question existing prejudices and stereotype, and work out suitable solutions based on discussions and debates. During the teaching of subjects, teachers should also take care to emphasize the role of women's participation in socio-political and economic processes. Another important effort is giving example of appropriate role models to motivate learners. Friends, now that we have discussed the important role of teachers, let us now understand what is hidden curriculum and how does it operate. Curriculum, as we all know, largely includes all the essential and appropriate knowledge taught formally in the school. However, there are certain aspects that are taught informally in a school system, and this is what is called the hidden curriculum. So, what does this hidden curriculum include? This includes behaviors, perspectives and attitude that students pick up unknowingly in the schooling processes. We must realize that it is what students absorb in school which may or may not be a part of the formal course of study. Gender inevitably becomes an element of this hidden curriculum. It gets transacted through the organizational arrangement, including the division of physical spaces within the classroom and the school on the basis of gender, assignment of different tasks to boys and girls, rituals and practices in everyday school activities, system of reward and punishment based on gender, disciplining of boys and girls through different strategies, labeling patterns of teacher-student and student-student interactions. Even the physical spaces provided to the boys and the girls in the school are gendered. So, if the hidden curriculum is not addressed by the school, both boys and girls will continue to internalize gender roles and responsibilities assigned to them, which perpetuates gender biases in the society. Friends, apart from teachers, principals are another important stakeholder in the schooling processes. They have the primary role of establishing a gender sensitive school management system. So, how does the principal ensure a school environment which is gender sensitive and gender inclusive? The principal should encourage gender equality in the school's governance and operations. It should be mandatory for the principal to sensitize all the staff members, including the supporting staff, on issues related to gender. The principal can also critically examine gender stereotypes in the behaviors and actions of parents and community members in matters relating to the school and sensitize them accordingly. Schools should have gender sensitive physical facilities like separate functional toilets, sufficient restrooms, availability of water, sanitation facilities and sanitary pads within the school complexes. They should try their best to support teachers to make classroom teaching learning processes more gender inclusive. Teachers should be made to use gender sensitive language. They can play a significant role in ensuring the participation of both boys and girls in various activities of the school. Friends, we are also aware that violence manifests itself in various forms both in and outside the school. It is mandatory for the principals to develop a zero tolerance policy towards any form of violence. It is important to organize self-defense training for both boys and girls. There should be regular arrangement of guidance and counseling services for the students. It is the responsibility of the school management and principal to formulate, implement and monitor rules and regulation that will make the school environment gender sensitive. Thus, having seen that how gender operates at various levels in the schools, the role of teachers and principal assumes significance in gender issues. Thank you.